You're watching Hello Nation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hello Nation podcast, your voices of good news. We have Tim running the board, Pam producing. I'm Prescott Rossi, and we are proud to be joined once again as part of our Hello Automotive series, BMW specialist and automotive expert Josh Anderson from Bavarian Motor Cars. Josh, great to have you back.
Hey, great to be back, Prescott. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm doing well. I hope you are as well. Now, the last time we talked a lot about the difference between dealerships and independent specialists. Today, we're continuing that conversation by diving deeper into what high-quality automotive service looks like for BMW owners. Now, before we jump in, being the voices of good news, we always like to start by asking our guests to share a little something positive. So, Josh, what's some good news happening for you lately?
Well, we've got some beautiful weather here today, and the shop is full of cars. So that's always a recipe for a great day.
Yeah, beautiful day and a beautiful looking shop there, too. Very clean and nice and up to date. So now in today's episode, we want to help listeners better understand how communication, diagnostics, and trust all shape the ownership experience, especially for drivers hoping to protect their BMW long term. Now, the first question I have for you, Josh. When people hear the phrase high-quality automotive service, what do they think they often misunderstand?
I think they often misunderstand what exactly service entails, because that's a very broad term, and it might mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So I think everything gets lumped into one thing as service, and I don't necessarily agree. I mean, one person's definition of service is different than another's.
Now, you said that service is the ultimate luxury. What does that idea mean in the real world for BMW owners?
So that idea means that, we take the worry out of owning the car. I mean, we're very in tune with the needs of these cars as they progress along their lifeline. And we help our clients kind of take care of what's there today and plan for what's coming down the road so that there are significantly less surprises. We don't like surprise visits. So we like to be structured and plan things out and avoid the tow truck and, all of that mess. So we know what these cars need now. We know what they're going to need soon. So we plan for that, and we're open and honest about the current condition of the car and what the car is going to need in the future.
And I would imagine when it comes to things like communication, being upfront with customers that, hey, your car is in this shape now, but 5, 10, 15,000 miles down the road, we might have to attack this aspect of the car. Just how important is communication, and how does that impact the customer experience in automotive service today?
Yeah, communication is very important. And in today's, connected world, it's expected. Quick, clear communication is an expectation of good service. So, to fill that need, we've got to stay on top of communicating, with our clients, what the cars need, and fitting that into what does their life look like? What is their schedule? When do they need the car back? Or, are they going out of town for the week and we have the car? Or do they need it tomorrow because they got to drop their kids off at school at, 7:30 in the morning? So, all of that plays a role into what service looks like.
And, with cars, as advanced as they are now in 2026, as we're having this conversation, I would imagine the communication from the car itself to you and to service techs, just how is that helping you when it comes to communicating with customers that, the cars are so intuitive and are so detailed when it comes to, figuring out or diagnosing a problem or something that needs to be fixed, compared to where we were not that long ago, 10, 15 years ago with BMWs and any model of car?
Yeah, so, 10, 15, 20 years ago, a lot of the testing that was done was all symptom-based. You had to know exactly how everything in the system needed to operate for the system as a whole to operate correctly. So you did a lot of your testing based off of the symptoms that the car was exhibiting and knowledge of the systems. Today's cars are a lot more technologically advanced. There's a lot more sensor packages and computing on today's cars than there were, decades ago. But that's a pretty common misconception. We hear a lot that, can't you just plug it in and tell me what's wrong with the car? Sometimes, yes. Oftentimes, no. I mean, the car's great at recognizing when something didn't happen or didn't happen properly. And that's really all the faults are telling you is that, hey, this system, for some reason, operated outside of these parameters for this amount of time on 3 different occasions or 5 different occasions or whatever the case may be. It doesn't tell us, oh, hey, yeah, you've got a broken wire in this wiring harness. It just tells us something didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. And then it's our job to do the testing to find out the reason why that particular, thing didn't happen properly or didn't happen at all.
And look at that, you're shedding misconceptions that even I have about the technology in these cars. So I guess it's kind of piggybacking off of that, Josh, why do so many vehicle owners feel overwhelmed or intimidated during repair conversations?
Well, I think part of it is just how advanced the technology is on these cars. I mean, we're monitoring like not just steering angle, but we're also monitoring like the force that's applied to the steering wheel to turn the wheel. And the sensor packages have gotten insane on everything that's monitored on these cars. So it can be overwhelming for a technician to grasp and understand that, let alone, a client who, may be an account manager or a software designer, engineer, or, they have a different profession that they've studied and they understand that. But it's like trying to teach programming language to somebody who doesn't really understand computers. So it gets very complicated. And I think part of that service that you should be providing is the ability to explain those complicated issues in a way that the average person can understand. But that takes understanding the system yourself to be able to do that and explain it in a way that, your average car owner can understand and grasp the concept behind what's happening and why it's not working right.
Yeah, it takes expertise. Tim, was there something you wanted to chime in with?
Yeah, no, it's funny. Is there, I love that you said it there, like for a car owner, they may not know. This is what you do every day. You are the expert. Your team, they're experts. What simple knowledge or pieces of information do you give those owners? I know, like I look at a car and I see green, good, like the little dash lights. See green, good. Yellow, I go, okay, red. Should probably think about coming and saying hi to you, but like what pieces of quick and simple knowledge do you have for those car owners?
Yeah, so I would say if you see a warning light, pay attention to what the car's doing. Like, see if you can notice, oh, that warning light came on and then I started hearing this weird noise when I turn the steering wheel or when I brake, or start paying a little extra attention to how the car's behaving, because that's information that, as the owner of the car, you're driving the car more than anybody else. Those symptom-based information pieces can really help speed along the testing process to finding the root cause. But I would add to that there are some warning lights, specifically the check engine or the service engine soon light, that will only light up yellow. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think these cars are advanced enough to be able to tell, like, hey, this is an emissions related thing. It's not really going to hurt the car. Let's turn the light on yellow, versus, hey, something's really bad wrong. We're going to potentially damage, the engine or the transmission if we continue to operate. Let's turn this on red and put a little more urgency into getting the car into the workshop. So because the light doesn't really have a condition-based color associated with it, we always recommend that if you see a warning light come on, make a call, get an appointment, and bring it into the workshop.
And that's a great question, Tim. And I drive a little bit of an older car. It's just one color, so
Yeah.
it's like I didn't even realize that these modern cars have different colors on the dashboard for when it comes to sensors and things like that. We're joined, of course, with Josh Anderson from Bavarian Motor Cars. And Josh, just actually curious a little bit about you. I mean, how long have you been in this industry and Bavarian Motor Cars? Tell me a little bit more about their history.
Yeah, so I've been in this industry for 20 years. Bavarian Motor Cars just celebrated its 20th anniversary this year. We started out with my father started the company. He had experience in training, master technician training at a couple of different dealerships in the area. Didn't really feel like it was a good fit because the objectives of the business didn't align with his personal values. So left and went to a different independent who turns out was basically the same thing. So decided to start his own business, actually helping people instead of just taking money. So he started out mobile and was mobile repair and service for about a year. And then the customer base grew so quickly that mobile was no longer really a viable option. So we started leasing a space and built up from that space to a property that became available, purchased it, and now we've moved on to another newer location that's bigger and nicer and well equipped. It's got all new lifts and air compressor and the whole nine. So it's a very nice property, but yeah, that's the backstory of Bavarian.
When it comes to Bavarian Motor Works, BMWs, what is it about those particular automobiles? I mean, I have an affinity for them, but I want to hear from you. What was it that gravitated you and your family toward that line of automobiles?
Frankly, they're challenging. They're more advanced with the technology and with the engineering. I would venture to say that it's hard to find anything that drives like a BMW when it's well sorted. They're great vehicles, comfortable when you want it, sporty when you want it, very capable. But they push the envelope with their technology, and it's challenging. So it makes you think, and you have to understand on a deeper level how things are supposed to happen to be able to tell what's the cause of it when things don't go right.
Now, when it comes to diagnostics, how do diagnostics help remove uncertainty and build trust with your customers?
So diagnostics is kind of a negative perception that goes along with it. We like to use the word testing here because that's what we're doing. We're running tests on certain parts of the system to either confirm or deny a suspicion or a hypothesis that we have as the root cause of an issue. Testing is important if you value not wasting a lot of time and money changing parts that don't need to be changed. So we make it a point to build that trust and provide service by providing very thorough testing. We will not recommend a repair, and I think that should be the case for pretty much everyone in this industry until you can prove that repair is needed. Otherwise, it just ends up with a lot of wasted money and parts that didn't need to be put on the car to try to fix an issue.
Let's talk preventative maintenance. You alluded to that a moment ago. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of care. We all know that, or a pound of cure. I guess maybe we don't know that phrase as well as we thought we did. What role does preventative maintenance play in protecting both performance and long-term value?
It plays a huge role, Prescott. It's something that's frequently ignored by most manufacturers nowadays, and it's a response to what the majority of car owners are looking for nowadays. There's a large percentage of the cars on the road that are lease vehicles. So the manufacturers know that, and so they write these maintenance schedules to serve that car for its term of its lease or for the term of the new car warranty. What happens after that, they frankly don't care. So, great, follow that manufacturer recommendation if you want to keep your car good for 4 years or 50,000 miles. If you want to go longer than that, then you have to be way more realistic with the things that we're doing to these vehicles to keep them good indefinitely for the long term. So, things like, lifetime transmission fluid, lifetime differential fluids, and lifetime transfer case fluids. I mean, a lot of these systems, they don't even have a drain plug anymore, Prescott. We're having to vacuum extract the old fluid out of transfer cases and differentials so that we can change the fluid in that unit, because the manufacturer is so against routine regular maintenance, or doesn't believe in it anymore, that they leave a drain plug off of an assembly like that should, in our opinion, it should have a drain plug. So, things like that it goes a long way to keeping the car reliable and extending the life of these very expensive components by doing something as simple as changing the fluid in the transfer case every 60,000 miles and the transmission fluid every 60,000 miles. It really helps keep your long-term ownership costs significantly lower.
Yeah, that's, it's funny. I hadn't even thought about that idea about, manufacturers wanting to move away from, regular repairs and service. So what are some examples of small problems becoming major repairs because maintenance was delayed or put off?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all kinds of issues over the years. We've seen transmissions fail much earlier than they should. We've seen transfer case failures. And I mean, we're talking like your average X-Drive BMW. Transfer case replacement on that car is probably $6,000 to $8,000. A transfer case fluid service on that car is probably $400. So we're talking a huge difference in the cost of a routine maintenance versus, well, we'll wait till it dies and we'll just change the whole transfer case. Like, that's not the mentality of most independent specialists. They would rather service the car routinely with relatively inexpensive maintenance than change huge assemblies that are very costly to the client. Nobody wants to deliver that news, right? Like, well, your transfer case died at 100,000 miles, but if we change the fluid every 60, it'd be good for 200,000 miles or 300,000 miles. So knowledge that's built on day-to-day experience of things that we see and problems that could be avoided.
Yeah, anytime you hear of services, one is one cost, the other is 20 times that cost. Yeah, I think, but a little preventative maintenance, yeah, definitely goes a long way. How should BMW owners think about quality versus price, going back to price, when it comes to making service decisions?
Yeah, so quality is more of a long-term viewpoint. Quality is what you get from something you purchase over its lifetime. And it may be quality versus price may be the difference between, using the highest quality fluid possible versus using the cheapest fluid you can get. And that is critical to the life of these components as well. They're precision engineered gears and assemblies that require high quality fluids. And if you don't put high quality fluids in there, I mean, yeah, you're changing the fluid, but if you're not using the right thing, you might be doing more harm than good. So I think quality is more of a long-term vision than a short-term, what did I pay today?
Gotcha. Yeah, and we have a couple questions left to go in this segment. Josh, what questions, speaking of, should people ask when looking for a BMW specialist they can trust?
That's a good question. I would probably ask, how long they've been around. I mean, that's an important one. What type of experience do they have on their team? What kind of warranty do they provide with the repairs that they're, performing? Do they offer, any extras like shuttle services or Uber rides or any conveniences that might make your life easier when it is time for your car to go into the workshop? And then I would take a look at their reputation online and read some reviews. And I'm the type of guy that I like to read the negative reviews and then see how the business responds to those negative reviews, more so than the negative review. Because everybody has a bad day, right? I mean, we're all human. We make mistakes. People have good days and bad days. And, I've been caught on bad days and I've made mistakes. But at the end of the day, I think you really find out what a business is about when there is a problem, when there is a mistake. That's when you really find out the true colors of a person or a business.
Josh, this has been awesome so far. We're going to take a transition just to we're going to do a little activity here in a segment we're calling BMW Myth or Fact. And of course, for those who maybe forgot from the beginning, we're here with Josh Anderson from Bavarian Motor Cars down in Georgia. Josh, I'll present some common beliefs BMW owners hear about maintenance, diagnostics, dealerships, long-term ownership. Josh, you'll respond with myth, fact, or it depends, and then explain why. So the first prompt I have for you for BMW myth or fact: only dealerships can properly diagnose BMWs.
Myth. Big myth. I mean, there are so many independents that take testing way beyond what the dealer is capable of, just because they've invested in equipment that the dealership frankly doesn't have or doesn't understand how to use. An oscilloscope is a big part of that equipment. It's going to a deeper level than what most dealerships are willing or able to do. So that's definitely a myth.
On to the next one now. BMWs are always expensive to maintain. Myth or fact?
Myth, relatively speaking. I mean, if you compare it to a Honda or a Toyota, then yeah, they're definitely going to be more expensive to maintain than those cars. Relatively speaking, like if you compare it to other German models and manufacturers, I'd say that's a myth. They're all pretty much about the same.
Okay, next one. Independent specialists don't have the same tools as dealerships. Myth or fact?
Myth. I have all the same factory equipment that you would find in a dealership when it comes to testing vehicles. And then some. So yeah, that's definitely a myth.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty full garage there behind you. Myth or fact: you should never ignore a warning light even if the car feels fine.
Fact. There's a lot that goes on that may not ever show a perceivable symptom, but it's a sign that there's something that's not happening like it should. So do not ignore your warning lights. That is 100% a fact. If it comes on, there's a problem.
Finally, fact gets on the board after 4 myths to open the segment. Routine maintenance matters more on BMWs than many other vehicles. Myth or fact?
I'd say that's probably, well, that could be either, really.
Could be an it depends?
Yeah, it could be an it depends. It depends on your perspective. Yeah, I'm going to go with it depends on that one, Prescott.
And then finally here for BMW myth or fact: a trustworthy mechanic should be able to explain repairs in simple language.
That is definitely a fact. If you understand how a system works, you should be able to explain that system to somebody who doesn't have a clue. And they should be able to walk away saying, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, that's the difference with expertise. So before we let you go, Josh, what's one thing you'd like our listeners to take away from this conversation when it comes to understanding what quality, trust, and communication should look like when caring for a BMW?
Do your research if you're looking for an independent specialist, like we talked about. Make some phone calls, read some online reviews. But I would say you kind of know it when you find it, if that makes sense. Don't ignore your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. But if it feels right, give them a shot. Let them have an opportunity to earn your trust. And that's how it should be every visit. Shouldn't take you for granted. The goal should be to earn your trust every visit, every time.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? You heard it here first from a true expert. Thank you for joining us, Josh. And thank you, listeners. For Tim, for Pam, I'm Prescott Rossi, signing off with Josh Anderson from Bavarian Motor Cars. And this has been the Hello Nation podcast, where good news travels faster. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Hello Nation.